Hello, everybody. Welcome to Powerful Impact. It's me, SP, and I'm here with Miss Morgan joining us today. How you doing, Morgan?
I'm good. How are you, SP?
I'm good. So, our special guest today is the immaculate J Rawls.
Immaculate, huh?
That's right.
I don't know about all that. My wife would disagree.
We speaking on the music. We talking about the music.
I
The only part we could possibly know.
word up, word up. How is everybody? How you guys doing?
I'm just going to start off with a softball question. For those people who don't know you, can you tell them where you're from and how that impacts you as an artist?
Well, I am from Columbus, Ohio, and so I guess the best way that impacts me is I don't have all the connects, all the resources, all the stuff for the big cities, the LAs, the New Yorks, the Atlantas. Um, but it also makes me work harder. It also makes me strive a little bit more. It makes me build more connections, do better networking, because I'm in the Midwest. So it's all good. I'm from Columbus. I still live in Columbus. I love Columbus. Columbus is a great place to raise kids. So I didn't plan on leaving. My second son just graduated from high school today, so I'm feeling good.
Awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So, you you started out though as did you start out as a DJ? Is
That's,
that right?
No,
that's really dope.
actually, I started out real talk. I started out like b-boying, like in like '84 with my crew. We used to try to b-boy or break dance, for the average consumer. Uh, and that didn't really go that well. After I fell on my back a couple times, I was like, you know what, I gotta find another part of the culture. I started beatboxing, and that was really my thing. That's how I led. I added on to the group. And then later, I started rapping as members started leaving, as cats started doing whatever, and then DJing and the beats, etc. It really came a little later, like when I was me and my dude DJ Buka was in my dad's basement going through his records, and we found some samples, and we was like, wait a minute, somebody, hold up, I heard that, hold up, we've heard that before. And we stayed up all night that first night. I never forget, just going through them records, and that was it. I've been addicted ever since. I mean, so now I go digging every single week. So this is today's take. So I'm,
Wow.
I'm about to go through that when we done, because I'm already making beats. Making beats right now. That's how we do.
That's
So
fire.
the DJing came later. That's what I meant.
I'm glad it came because I now you got me curious. I want to hear it all.
Hey, we can get it in. We can have an impromptu beat session. That ain't nothing.
So, so you say you go. How often did you say you go digging?
Every week.
Every week. And so I mean you've been all over, right? So like, are there any other places like specific cities that you found, great?
Yeah. Amsterdam, Sao Paulo, Tokyo, um, uh, Memphis. I like Memphis. I got a lot of yeah. I mean, to be honest with you, my wife teases me because when I go somewhere like for college to speak, or if I go somewhere to do anything, a family vacation, my priority is a record store. Like I always hit a record. She knows. She just be like, all right, build in some time for him to hit a record store. We going over here. We going shopping, or we going to do whatever we going to do. But he going to the record store, and that's me. I mean, hey, I hit every city I hit. Every new city I go digging. That's not even a question.
You went when you go digging for records, what are you normally drawn to?
To be honest with you, my goal is always I'm looking for drums. I'm a drum head. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
looking for open breaks. I'm looking for like once we find a new record that has a break, like my man Buka will be like, yo, this one got drums on it, or this one, that kind of thing, and we share. Like, yo, you got to get that one. So that's it. I look for drums. So anything else I find is like the spoil. It's like, okay, I find something with a dope sample. That's because I was looking for drums, and that's how I do it. So drums is what I'm looking for. And then when I pull up a record, I'm looking for year, label, the artist that played on the record. Because I've been digging for 30 years, I know like what artist like I'm looking for. If I see a name on there, John Weddle or something, you like, oh, I know what I'm getting. Bill Bruford. I mean, I know Cozy Powell. Like I know drummers. You know what I'm saying? So when I'm digging, I know what I'm looking for.
You because I think people are fascinated by when we start talking about digging. What is your favorite place to dig?
What you mean, like favorite
With
place?
your favorite spot that that's you just go to because that's your spot.
I don't even have one. I just need a record store. It don't even matter. I just need some place with records. I don't really have a favorite spot. I just need it's the art of digging. Like I really need to write a book and explain the culture, because it is a culture. There's so many subcultures within hip hop, and it's definitely one of them. And that's the culture that I love a lot.
So, do you do any of the online digging, or you still have to be in the store?
I mean a little, just because now digging has gotten transformed through Discogs and online, because a lot of the good records you can't find anymore because people got them on Discogs or wherever. So it's been changed by that, but that's why I kind of stay in the dollar records. I'll be on the cheap records. I don't need to spend $100, to find a dope drum break. I'll find something on something you didn't even imagine. And another thing I'm looking for when I'm looking for records, I'm looking for records that ain't on YouTube.
Right.
Yeah.
That's part of the thing for me, because I'll be honest, I don't have to have something that everybody knows. That's what I'm looking for. The stuff you ain't heard.
Yeah, it's getting pretty saturated on some of that stuff.
I get it. It is. It's real.
Yeah. So like that topic comes up a lot between. So I've seen a lot of what the difference between a producer and a beat maker. I mean, could you break that down so people like how you see it?
I would say that a beat maker, somebody who sits here and chops, right, and makes beats. But a producer puts together a song. Like you actually produce the song. To produce a song is a different idea, because what you're doing is you create the song, you do the music, and then you help orchestrate how the artist rocks over that music, and that's some work, definitely. And I've done both.
So, how hard is it for you to find those artists that allow you to do your job when you're producing a whole song?
It just depends, normally that comes with the artist that has experience. Like sometimes I'll work with a rapper who's been doing it as long as I've been making beats, and I don't really have to say anything. They know how to, make, the chorus, the hook. They understand, how the recording etiquette, how to spit into the mic so it sounds good, how to, take direction when they in the booth. Sometimes I don't, but then there's sometimes I work with a newer artist, and I'm telling them all of that. You got to speak, because I use an SM7B, and a Shure SM7B, you have to speak directly into it. You can't be on the side or whatever. You got to talk right into it. So, you got to teach them that kind of thing.
I'm trying to figure out how to phrase this question, because
Just ask it. Don't even worry about phrasing. Just ask.
No, I just really want to. I'm so interested in this because I have we've talked to a couple of producers that said you have to want to be produced. So when you run across those who don't take direction as well as others, how do you handle those situations?
Yo, being real with you, it's been so long since I've had to deal with that because I work with who I want to at this point. Like I do music because I love it. I don't need to do it to survive. I don't
Mhm,
have to eat off of this. This is a love sport for me at this point. And I think, me being an educator helps with that. You know what I'm saying?
mhm,
That's not the only way I pay my bills. So there's no pressure. So I don't work with anybody that I'm not interested in. Like everybody I work with, I want to work with them. Like I would holler at them like, yo, you know what I'm saying? Now there's sometimes people will hit me up, y'all want to buy a beat, I want to do whatever. And I'll do that, but I always my first thing, you want to buy a beat, send me some joints, let me hear you. Because I mean if I don't have to work with you. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you gotta excite me.
mhm.
So to answer your question, I don't really work with that many cats that don't want to be produced. If cats is coming to me at this point in my career, they want me to produce them.
Right. Speaking of people that you've worked with, Black Star, how did that happen?
Yo, Black Star happened just through my relationships with Mood out of Cincinnati and High Tech. I met them through some mutual friends in like 96, 95, 96. And then uh, Kweli was coming down from Brooklyn to Cincinnati almost monthly on the Greyhound working with High Tech because that's how dope High Tech was at the time. He was incredible. And so, that's how I met him and ended up, he was like, yo, once they got the Reflection Eternal deal and most had a separate deal, they did a single deal with Rawkus, both of them. And the singles did so well that Rawkus asked them to do an album, but they had to do it together because Rawkus didn't have a budget to do them separate at the time. So they was like, yo, y'all best friends, do the album together. Black Star was completely made up. It was just, yo,
Nice.
Rawkus was like, yo, can you, money wise, and that's what happened. And so Kweli was like, yo, just send me some beats. So I did, and that's how it happened.
That's crazy. That's crazy how that happened. Like it wasn't like it's like the universe just
Yeah,
said
wasn't playing.
this has to happen.
They were solo artists.
Right.
They still are.
Yeah. Um,
Listen, go on with that line. John Robinson's another artist that you work with.
That's my brother, JR.
Yeah, he is so dope.
He is.
How did y'all end up initially meeting and working together?
Yo, if you really want to know, it was Kweli. And it's funny because I was in New York just hanging with Kwa in like 97, 98, whenever it was. And we went into Fat Beats, the record store at the time, and he saw this record on the shelf. He was like, yo, get this record. I was like, what is it? I ain't never heard it. I don't know this artist. I don't know this group. And he was like, yo, I freestyled this at all of my shows. This record is crazy. And it was Science of Life, Powers of Nine Ether. And when I heard it, and then I heard Sai's voice, I was like, oh my God, who is this? And so that's how I was first introduced to John Robinson, or AKA Little Sai. That's the first time I heard him. And then, I just everything that came out, I picked up. And then one day we met in Atlanta because that's where he was living. I was down there doing some work, and he was, we just build and talk, and then we just got real close. We ended up doing an album, and that was this record sitting right there, the 1960s jazz revolution again. And both of our initials are JR, right? J Rawls, John Robinson. So we called the album JR, and that was our first album, and that album was fun, and we just had a chemistry. And then fast forward, we both became teachers, and so we had that in common. And so we just, so our second album, we wrote a book, and then made an album off the book. You know what I'm saying? Just because we artists too, we hip hop too, we educators, we hip hop. So it was a no brainer. So yeah, JR is my brother. We talk pretty much every day because we are working on book number 3.
Wow.
Youth Power Culture is such a great album.
Yeah, yeah, there we go.
That's what's
It's
up, Morgan. Good luck. Good luck.
it's 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 one of those albums. When I first heard it, I was like, I am going to go to the school and make them have a meeting and make them listen to this because I think as older people we forget, and we never had all of this distraction in our world. So I think we don't understand how hard it is to
Mm-hmm.
focus for that amount of time when you never do that in any other part of your day.
Word, word, word. We actually do professional developments for teachers. So if you know any educators, let them know. Send them to itsjr.com so that they can find out about our professional developments because we just came back from Harvard 2 weeks ago doing a presentation on how to use hip hop based education in the classroom because it's time for a change. We're in the schools right now helping teachers understand how to use this culture to help the young people, and it works. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, tell the teachers, let them know.
How
Well,
far
tell the principals.
how like how far like how big of a reach have you guys got so far? You know what I mean? Like
As far as what, like reach, as far as
with like how many like schools have you been able to get to adopt it, or at least you do the professional development on trying to get it implemented into these schools?
we've got several districts in Kentucky, in Ohio, and in New York. So we've done professional developments in all those areas. But a lot of what we've done has been speaking at colleges. I've been doing a lot of speaking at colleges, just talking about it, trying to get the word out there and let people know that we need to change some things up.
Right. And does that help along the lines of so like the I should ask the colleges that you're speaking to, are these teaching colleges or are they okay?
Not necessarily teaching, just universities, but most of them are in colleges of education. Let's see, I did Virginia Tech, I did Virginia State, I did Pittsburgh, University of Pittsburgh, Harvard, and these are just off the top, but it's been crazy. Like that's really what I'm doing. I'm about to do Colorado State. Um, about to talk to the California Department of Education. Like we're moving. We're gonna let people know what's up.
Right. So like what I was getting at was we all know it's easier to make changes when you're young, right? Like once you get older, those changes are hard to make. So
Sure.
like, is it easier to like get to the people who are learning right now to try to implement that right
The teacher,
now? Yeah,
yeah,
the teachers.
yeah, it is. It is. That is probably the best way to do it. That's what I do at my program at Ohio University. I work with teachers who are becoming teachers.
Right.
So that I think that is the best time to get them because it's much more difficult to do to somebody that's been teaching for 20 years. But
Right.
we still let them know.
When you are for the high school level, I grew up in San Antonio, so the school system that I'm is uh, one of the more underserved communities.
Okay, got it.
So how hard how do you get, especially the teachers who are teaching now, get them to understand um culturally what's going on, and everybody's not just a bad kid, and
Mhm.
everybody's not just hyperactive and needs meds, you know
Right,
is
right.
this this
Yep.
is a reality. How do we start those kind of conversations, especially in a community that's very seldom heard, or even listen to.
Indeed. You know, that's kind of what we try to do in our professional development. So with our musical performance background, we come in our professional development, and you got to imagine. So I don't know if any of you are teachers or not, but most professional developments are stiff, boring. You sitting there and you fight and sleep, or you just playing on your phone. You're doing exactly what you tell your kids not to do in your classroom. That's what you're doing when you're in a profession. We don't do that. We come in, I'll be like, like we get it going. Like, yo, get up, we're gonna party, you're gonna have fun. And we bring the culture straight to the teachers, and then we got their attention. And then we sit and we turn it around and we tell them, like, now, imagine if you did this with your kids. And then the first thing they say, oh, I don't rap, I don't DJ, I don't, but that's an excuse. You don't have to. You don't have to. What you have to do is center the culture and allow the students to be who they are, to be their authentic selves. And so we just approach it by bringing the culture to them, and then turning it around and showing them examples of how they can use that culture. Because a lot of teachers, they're fearful, right, of anything new. And they like, well, I can't do that. And it's like, you don't have to. Let your kids guide you. Let your students show you how to do it. There it is.
Right. So basically, like, I think I read it in your book. You have to use what you know, to learn something new. So I mean, that makes so much sense that you would use what these kids already know in their pop culture or their culture, and use that to teach them what you want them to know.
It's called cultural capital, right? And so what we are saying is, your kids don't come into the classroom as blank slates. They don't come into the classroom not knowing anything. In fact, they probably know more than you. You just know Shakespeare. You just know the Pythagorean theorem. But they know how to take an iPhone and blah, 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 right? So that's some knowledge. That's some culture. So I mean, that's cultural capital. So what I'm saying is, use what they know to teach them something new. And then, number one, they don't feel like, oh, I don't know anything. They feel like, oh, okay, that makes sense. And then what you're doing is you're empowering your students. Like, imagine a kid that's empowered and feels connected to the teacher and what's going on in the classroom. They probably don't need those meds. You know what I'm saying? SP, that's what we were just talking about. They don't need the meds. They just need to feel like you're hearing them.
Right, a relationship.
They need that relationship. And that's what this is all about. It's about relationships. You build that relationship. Now, of course, there's always going to be a few outliers, right? That's always going to be the case. But the majority of young people, if you build that relationship, most of your problems is going to be solved. And that's how John and I, that's how we came to these conclusions, because that's what we were doing when we were in the classroom 10, 15 years ago, dealing with this, because we were like, yo, all the teachers are sending us the bad kids. All the bad kids wanted to come see me. They wanted to come to my room. And I had teachers like, oh, he's so bad. How do you get him to? I'm like, no, he ain't. We was just having a conversation about Lil Wayne and Rakim, and we was comparing them, and we was building. Like, oh, she's so bad. She this, she that. And I'm like, no, she ain't, because she's into anime, and we were just talking about it, and she was teaching me about anime. She ain't. So that's when I realized the teachers ain't listening. You're not listening to the kid. The kid wants to talk about anime. All right, tell me about anime. All right, so boom, boom, boom. We asking questions. We building. We talking. We doing this. We building that connection. Now, I want to talk to you. Well, let me tell you a little bit about me, and boom, 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 and ABC. So now that student feels like they know me. We feel like we have a connection. So now when I sit down and say, okay, let's learn about the Pythagorean theorem. All right, I'm more likely to listen to you now, Mr. Rawls, because I know that you listen to me. Difference. That's what we're talking about.
I was so enthralled for a minute. I just thought I put my hand.
This is what we do. This is what we do. Every time we do a professional development, we get somebody like you that's like, and it's almost like, duh, it makes sense. But you know what the problem is? We don't see kids as people. And I used to do that with my kids until I started thinking like this. You see them as kids. Oh, you're a little kid. Shut up. Sit down. Because that's how we were raised, right? Shut up. You know, you don't need to be taught. You just sing. You don't be heard. You just sing. We're changing that. You can't do that. I need to hear from you. I need to know what's going, because this world is different. It's crazy now. This world is crazy. You'll get a kid that'll take a gun into a damn grocery store. Like, we got problems now. You need to be listening to these kids. You can't just, you are to be seen and not heard. That's dead. That's dead.
So, J Rawls, question for you.
What up?
When it comes to the future for our kids, right, and youth, where do you see them 5 to 10 years from now, roughly?
It just depends, man. Some of them are going to struggle because they're still dealing. I think the ones that we allow to be empowered, the ones we let hear their student voice, I think they're going to flourish, man. So it's a broad spectrum. We're going to have kids that are doing the thing, and then you're going to have kids that are going down the wrong path, because at this point, we're not reaching a lot of kids. Mm-hmm. We're giving them meds, like SP said. We label them as IEP. We telling them, you're bad. You're a bad kid. If you keep telling me I'm a bad kid, what am I going to be?
Right.
Mm-hmm. And the attention span is changing with social media and everything too, right?
Yep, sure is. How are you? So since social media is so big, then we got to take that and use it for our advantage. And see, that's what I try to explain to teachers. Why are you fighting TikTok? Why are you fighting Instagram? You're going to lose. When you leave the classroom, when you leave the school, teacher, what are you doing? Facebook, Instagram. Am I right or am I wrong? Y'all know I'm right because I do it. We all do. When y'all get off of this right now, y'all gonna post like, yo, I just talked to Rawls. We just did this. Yo, we got this coming. We all do it. So why do we tell our kids, hey, don't do that? That's the dumbest thing in the world. We can't tell our kids that. We got to take it and flip it and use it and put it on our side. I'll give you an example. We get a kid in the classroom who that can't get off their phone. Yo, they just all and they're not paying attention. They this and that. You know what we do? We make that person the classroom researcher. All right, you don't want to put your phone down? That's cool. Keep it. And now anything that we talking, this, yeah. Look that up. What does that mean? Tell us what that means. And now they're adding to the class.
Can I ask? I want to continue on that line, right? Can I ask now? Let's bring it into a little more. That's a little macro, right? Let's go a little micro now. Okay. When it comes to Black and brown children in particular, where do you see them right now? Are they in a good place mentally, spiritually, emotionally, physically? Like, where do you kind of see us, so to speak? The J Rawls of, teenage and younger.
Real talk, that's such a tough question to answer because I've seen Black and brown that's doing well and thriving, and then I've seen Black and brown that's struggling. It just depends, man. Especially since I talk to different school districts. I just.
It ain't where you're from; it's where you're at.
It ain't where you from; it's where you at. It ain't none of that. It's what kind of educators and what kind of positive role models do you have, man? Like, some of these kids don't have positive role models. They don't have people that's looking at them and saying, you can do it. They get a lot of people to say, you're a little dumbass or something, crazy stuff. I done seen kids like, I'm like, yo, you telling him that, yeah, he gonna become a criminal or he gonna become a whatever because you keep telling him he ain't nothing but that. So that's what I'm saying, fam. It's hard to say. I mean, it just depends, man. Like, what kind of positivity are you pouring into your kid?
Boy, that reminds me of Most Def, man, because I feel like I'm the Most Def. Remember the beginning of Black on Both Sides? People always ask me, yo, Most, where's hip hop at, man? Where's this? Like, hip hop, some big giant in the tree or the hilltop. He said, you want to know where hip hop is? Hip hop is where, when you look in the mirror and say, where am I? Where am I? That's interesting.
And that's exactly, you know what? That's even better way to answer your question. Where's our Black and brown youth? Where are you? How do you treat them? You know what I'm saying? Like, how are you treating your kids? That's going to be your answer. That's, because you can't do much about the ones that ain't, that you don't have control over. But like with my kids, man, I always pour positivity into them, man. You can do it. You are a star. You are special. You're going to be something. That's what they hear from me. So my kids don't think anything else. Like, they know they're going to be something. They know they're going to be good.
Last question. I'm going to pass it back to the crew. So what advice would you give to anyone trying to pursue a career in teaching or producing music professionally? like kind of giving a bread trail or blueprint to someone to to reach where you are. Basically, if they look at this and get inspired.
Yo, I mean, if you want to be a teacher, then you're gonna have to go get the credentials, and go the route, because teaching is still buried in a bunch of bureaucratic, blah blah blah, because you're dealing with kids. You're not gonna get past that. You gotta do the test and praxis, all that kind of stuff. But what I will say is, don't lose who you are. Don't lose your authentic self. When you become a teacher, you want to be who you are, and who be your authentic self, because your kids will see that, and that will make them want to be their authentic self. If you want to be a producer, that's the hard work. Because producing in today's age is way different. I'm blessed that I've been doing it for a long time, and so a couple people know my name. But to be honest with you, it's rough right now. What I would suggest for young people producing is make beats that you feel. That's first and foremost. If you don't like trap, don't try to make trap. If you love trap, then you should be making trap beats and making them beats hot, right? And then my suggestion for up and coming producers is find an artist, because people like to hear what people sound like over your beats. So find you a rapper, find you a singer, find somebody that's coming up just like you. If you're up and coming, don't try to, go pay Common or Lil Durk for a verse. Why would you do that? Find that rapper that's hungry in your neighborhood. Who is that dude? Who is that young lady who is killing it in the hood? Find that person, and y'all build together. And then y'all YouTubing and SoundCloud and Instagramming and letting people know, yo, who is these young people coming out of? And that's how it works.
Right. And I'm gonna go back a little bit to the first part of his question. Do you see if you can get like this whole hip hop based education like that fully implemented? I mean, do you think that will make more kids want to be educators? I mean, do you think that'll have an effect on there at all?
It could. What I'm hoping it does, because that's the goal. We're trying to get. I got two goals: hip hop based education and making hip hop studies as normal as jazz studies. Those two things I want to make a change on. So that's what I'm working toward. But I think what it'll do is make young people enjoy school a little bit more. So many people have bad experiences in school. Like, I talk to a lot of older people that be like, man, I'd never be a teacher because that was the worst time. I hated it. So that's what I hope it changes more than.
And then, so the programs that you're working on, the hip hop is Hip Hop Ohio. I forgot what
Patent education. Yep, the Hope program, Hip Hop Ohio Patent Education. So what that is a program that I'm writing at Ohio University, and I hope y'all look it up. Just Google Hope program at Ohio University. It'll come up. But it is a hip hop based education program at Ohio University for future teachers. It's the first hip hop based education program in the United States. It's the first, and I'm writing it, and I'm a hip hop dude. So how about that?
Nice.
And it's 4 courses. We're figuring out if we're going to make it a certificated program, or if we're going to make it a minor. That's what we're working on right now. But it's brand new. We're starting year 2. The first 2 semesters went really well. All the students that took the class, the first class, the number 1, which is EDTE 1010, Intro to Hip Hop Based Education, they all want to take the second class and stay in the program.
That's great.
Every single one of them, 100%. So I was like, yo, that's big. So I'm very proud of that. And, it's just, you got to start somewhere, right? So the goal is to start this at Ohio University and then see where we can move it.
And then how do we work with the school boards across the country that is so resistant to hip hop and Black culture, because they're of a certain generation and they are actually ignorant of the culture, and
Mm-hmm.
and it's it, because being in Texas, you see that the
I know who
the
y'all governor is,
legislation,
so yeah, I get it.
the legislation against
Yeah.
the culture. So how do we, as a minority in this vast land of Texas, kind of push those doors open, because or even get the community involved with pushing the doors open, because in this block, I think maybe two people know who's on the school board.
Mhm. You want me to tell you real talk?
Yeah.
People like you, people like Morgan, y'all, people in education, people, I'm sorry, in the culture, need to jump on school boards. I mean, if you watching what's going on, the people that are running for school boards are all the people that ain't trying to help black and brown, because they understand that it's about getting elected. Jump into these elections, get into the school board. Once we get more people from the culture on these school boards, things will start to change. People will start to be like, yo, we changing this because y'all are hip hop. Here's the thing. We are now, hip hop culture is grown now. Think about that. We're grown.
Mhm.
And think about this. For the first time ever, think about, listen to me right now. Listen. For the first time ever, the parents and the kids are listening to the same type of music. Go back. Did you listen to what your parents listened to? Did they listen to what their parents listened to? Nope. You know what I'm saying? My bad. We listen to hip hop. We understand the culture. We understand our kids. Now, we may not listen to the same type of hip hop. We may not listen to all the Lils and the young boys and the young this, but we get it. We know hip hop culture. So to me, we got to take advantage of this. We got to take advantage of being from the same culture and make some changes. And the only way to do that is to start jumping on these elections, man.
And we talk about the power of music and just the culture and all that. Do you think that a song or an album or a podcast or stuff like this have the power to like change people?
Of course, it happens every day. Of course, definitely. I mean, y'all podcasts touch so many people. Come on, I mean, you know what it is. Like, people listen to music, it helps them. I mean, that's their escape most times. Think about it. You see people walking with headphones. Shoot, you be walking with your own headphone. That's when you get into your zone. So yeah, definitely has a problem.
Where do you see hip hop 5 to 10 years from now? And where do you see yourself 5 to 10 years from now,
I see
professionally, personally?
I see hip hop growing. I see hip hop just getting bigger and moving forward. Um, it ain't gonna look like it does right now. It ain't gonna look like the glory days that we wish it looked like. It ain't gonna be that. So we got to get over that. Me personally, 5 to 10, um, somewhere tenure track professor. My kids will all be graduated and out the crib. So me and my wife traveling, yo. I'm hitting Europe with her. So I done been all over the world, but not with her. I went doing music. So I'm in places like Paris and stuff and don't get to see the Eiffel Tower, don't get to, travel and be a tour. So I want to go be a tourist. That's where I see myself. Teaching, still making beats, and traveling.
Yeah, and then I see liquid the Liquid Crystal Project too up there. So we've had Mr. Walt from the Beat Miners, and we've had General Steele from Smith and Wesson.
Nice.
So you've done tribute to Beat Miners on that project, and you sampled Bucktown, right?
Mm-hmm. Nah, I didn't sample Bucktown. I sampled the original. But yes,
the original, but it's on Bucktown.
Yeah.
Right. So how is Beat Miners influential for you?
Yeah, definitely. Everybody that I've done a tribute to is influential. Beat Miner, Souls of Mischief, Dilla, Pete Rock. It's really those are just like, so as a producer who chops and doesn't play anything, like everything I play is by ear. So I can't read music, I ain't trained, none of that. I didn't get those opportunities. But once I found a band that was like-minded and we was like fam, I was like, yo, I got ideas, I got dreams I wish I could do. And so that's how all of that came about. You know what I'm saying? Just and yo, the beat minders, Mr. Wall, Evil D, they already know. I mean, I tell them every time I talk to them, like, man, y'all know, y'all influenced the hell out of me.
That's why you wanted to be on the show. Powaful Impact. Boom! From
Right. That's right. Indeed.
Do you have like a favorite collaboration you've done?
Not really, because all the collaborations I do, I mean, I'm excited about them. You know, the work with John Robinson has been incredible. I mean, gosh, the work I did with Fat John. I mean, I've been blessed. So I don't have just a favorite. I just enjoy making music.
And then, you know, going back to Black Star, we were talking about how things have changed as far as social media and how projects are coming out. So a lot of stuff's on streaming. So they put out their sophomore album. Did you get a chance to listen to that?
Whose was it again?
Black Star.
Oh yeah, of course. Oh, definitely.
What'd you think about that?
I liked it. I got like there's 3 of them on there that's just like super extra beautiful to me, and but I like the album as a whole. But what I'm looking for is a certain type of beat, and I need samples, and of course Madlib samples. So I'm good. Otis, you know, I'm Madlib. My fault. Madlib is one of the greatest producers. So I don't even know if that's a question.
I want to ask, what's your dream collaboration? What are you looking for musically? Who would you like to work with in the future?
You know, I've always wanted to work with Common. I'm a big Common fan, but I haven't met him. I mean, I've met him, but I mean, not like got to sit and build with him. So that's definitely one, man. There's, but honestly, man, like a lot of the people that I work with, I get blessed. You know, I'm not. There's really no dream like, yo, I really wish I could work. Nah, I just kind of go with the flow.
Okay, and back to like a little bit with Black Star, I want to explore a little bit more. 2 things. When you're working on the album with them, like the original, what was it like producing Brown Skin Lady, which is one of my favorite joints by them? What was that like for you? And are there any other songs that you produced for either of them, solo or together?
I did a lot solo for Qua. I did a couple joints with him, man. One he did with Makiba. I did one that he did some like diss track he ended up using. He asked me could he use it. I was like, it don't matter. I did joints for Most back in the day, but they didn't make Black on Both Sides. I did like 4 of them, but they didn't make the album. And then that was the last of our work. But doing the Brown Skin Lady was crazy. You know, it was because it was an experience. You know, Ruckus flew us out to LA, and that was my first time in LA in '97. And I had never, you know, I didn't know like the industry, so all of that was new to me. And Kweli taught me everything. He took me to BMI. He showed me about split sheets and points and all that. I didn't understand any of that. And then, you know, when we recorded it, that was the very first song we recorded for the album. So,
what?
Yeah.
Salute.
Yeah, Brown Skin Lady was the very first song, and then Definition was the second. And we did them both in the same lab at the same time, and that's why, you know, when he says,
"Wait, you produced the?"
Nah, that's High Tech did that. Me and High Tech flew to LA and met Kweli out there because we had to go to LA to record it because Mos Def was doing Spin City, the TV show with Michael J. Fox. He was doing that at the time, so we flew out there to record because Mos was getting his TV on.
Multiple streams of income, people.
I learned
how you do this.
That's who I learned that from was Dante, man. He was like, yo, I got money coming from left and right. I'm like, huh? I ain't know nothing about
got that Bill Cosby money.
Got that Bill Cosby
money.
Cosby mysteries.
Salute he got that, to Yasin Bey.
Indeed. And so, you know, that was, you know, so when you hear Mos Def say High Tech, yeah, you're ruling hip hop. Say J Rawls, yeah, you're ruling hip hop. that's because we were standing out there and watching him in the booth when he did that. That's why he said it. And I'll tell you another story. This is for y'all. When he says redefinition, now you're ruling hip hop. The name of the group was Redefinition. That's who they were going to be, and they changed it later.
Exclusive.
Oh wow!
Here, right.
So,
Sorry,
go ahead, Neville.
All right, I'm sorry, I'm in my Black Star bag right now. I'm geeking out. All right, so let me ask now. When you watch these brothers now, because you brought it up, podcast, and I just said Yasin Bey, what's it like to be a peer, friend, colleague, comrade, watching these brothers evolve, and vice versa, like them watching you, Dr. Rawls, Professor Rawls, like what's it like to watch each other? Like, damn, I've seen my brothers with Mad Lib, and it's like, damn, I see my brother over here graduating. But like, what is it like to see each other moving and having such influence and a powerful impact on, right, in your immediate circles and the community at large and international, outer national?
It's dope. It's dope. I mean, the main thing is, man, it's just I'm nostalgic, man. So like, most people got Apple
You
Music.
missed them White Owls. That's what you missed the White Owls. No, I'm just playing.
I don't even. Here's another thing that people don't believe, but I don't even smoke. Now. I don't smoke or drink. So people will be like, "Huh? What?" Yeah, I don't. So I don't miss none of that. What I miss is just making that music when there wasn't no money involved, no schedule, no. It was just we just did it because we loved it. There's something about that. That's a different feel, and so. That's what I miss. To be honest, like I said, a lot of cats got Apple Music on their phone. I don't do that because I load all the old music from my iTunes. I still listen to stuff we did in 95, 96, 97, and that's what I be bumping. So
when did you get your degree, your education degree, like
my doctorate, 2017. Yes.
So were you still, because I know you said that making music isn't something that's a hobby, like you don't have to do that, that's something you get to do just out of love. So were you still doing it at, like, was it hard to do both, or were you like
it's just a balance. I mean, I never stopped making music because like I said, I love it. That's just what I do, but I don't have to do it to make my money. The music that I do because I want to. So everything I put out because I want to. Like I don't have to do anything. Like now I'm starting to make dance floor and house music. Like I'm about to hit y'all with something way different. Like I'm expanding and just changing. I'm getting older. I don't know what it is, but it's and it feels good. It feels good. So I just do what feels good. You know what I'm saying? But it's definitely difficult to balance both. When I was writing that dissertation, that was tough. That was a lot of work. So yeah, that made music, take a little backseat, but it came back.
So when all is said and done, what do you want your legacy to be?
Yeah, I released my last album of me rapping called The Legacy. I want my legacy to be hip hop and education. I want when you Wikipedia me after I'm not here anymore, I want you to see that he was an educator and a scholar, and he was a producer and a producer of genres, because I've done soul, I've done hip hop, I've done jazz, and I'm about to do house. I ain't playing.
The name of the show is Powaful Impact. So who are three people in your life that had a powerful impact on you?
I don't even know if I can just say three. It just, everything that I'm doing has a different person. My dad, my mom, just that's first and foremost powerful impact. When it comes to education, people like Chris Emden and Emery Petchower, they have been my mentors in this education thing. When it comes to hip hop, it's people like DJ Center, Rhett Matic, John Robinson, Wordsworth. There's a lot of people that inspire me, and my peers, that inspire me to push forward. So, Yeah, there's a lot of powerful impacts. I think that's the only reason I'm here. It's because I got so much support. So
The support system. Um, how would you suggest for people who like me, growing up the way I grew up, I didn't know what the hell a mentor was, or even how or
right,
even how to go about finding a mentor, or even what the word meant half the time.
right,
So
Or internship or yeah.
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 So with knowing the importance of a mentor, how would you explain to somebody how to find that kind of leadership,
And network.
and how to network, because a lot of people have an issue with even knowing how to do that.
Well, I'll be honest with you. It's difficult to go from like needing a mentor to finding one. It really depends on the mentors, the older people to reach back and help some younger person, I think. But if you're really asking that for young people that don't have a mentor, don't really know how to go about that, I would say, first of all, find your passion. What do you love to do? Is it sneakers? Are you a sneakerhead? Are you a basketball head? Are you an anime head? Are you a video game head? What do you do? Right? And then find the people that do that and then network. And when I say network, if you don't know what networking is, then ask them questions. Just build with them. Ask them questions and learn more about it. And as you do that, somebody will see that you have an interest and hopefully take you in and take you on. But that's hard. I mean, I don't know if you don't have one.
No, I think that was the answer. You're saying first and foremost, you're saying find the passion, the direction, and the drive. Then you're
Yeah,
saying hopefully find like-minded people, and then hopefully find people that are generous with their time, effort, energy, and resources. To
exactly.
That's a lot of things, but I
It's
think
a lot, but
you
it's a
gave the
lot of work.
blueprint. Yeah,
It's a lot of work. It
definitely.
ain't gonna be easy finding a mentor. That
And
don't
people
just
have to be selfless, right, and
yeah,
not selfish
indeed,
with their time. The
indeed.
mentor as well as you have to be open enough to be willing to put in the time. Everybody, I want this, I want that, but they want the shortcut. They want the
Indeed.
microwave fast food, and they don't want to put in the time and the grind.
Don't they? The microwave fast food. I like that.
And speaking of that, like there's a um the difference is, so we get a lot of boom bap, right? On That's generally what I listen to a lot. But
Me too.
uh, what do you think, or if there are any differences between like original boom bap and boom bap today?
Oh yeah. It's definitely changed. I mean, I would call boom bap today like your Griseldas and all the stuff that's going on now where they don't have no drums in them. It's just samples. Which is cool for me, but that ain't I need them drums. I need that drum. Like my head need to nod. That's what I'm looking for.
You're talking
Um,
SP language. She
I
loves
was saying,
drums.
she was talking
She
about it
want
in her
the
car.
windows to rattle.
Yeah, I need them drums. Like, yo, what's up? And so, that music is dope though. I ain't gonna sit there and lie. My dude Buka in Atlanta right now at a Griselda concert, losing his mind. You know what I'm saying? And that music is good music. Them dudes just rock it. They hip hop.
And
So
it's
it's,
raw.
it's it's raw, but it's just hip hop is growing, it's changing. So boom bap is gonna change, trap is gonna change. I mean, imagine 10 years from now, the kids that grew up on trap gonna be like, man, this new trap is whack, man. They ain't doing it like how we did it. You know what I'm saying? Air Love, Sosa, drill, all that. That's that new drill. They ain't doing it right. That's how it's gonna be.
How do you think you can start to bridge that gap? Because
Which gap?
the gap between old
The
school and new
ageism too.
school, because I always see, if you don't know who DJ Honda is, don't talk to me about hip hop.
And see, that's what has to change. Because I used to be like you. You can't do that. I used to do that. And then my students taught me like, yo, you can't do that. Because when you was coming up and it made sense, because think about this. I'm going to tell you something. I'm about to flip y'all on y'all's ear real quick. When I was growing up, bumping Run DMC. Run DMC is classic. Am I right or am I mean? All right, I saw heads.
Hella right. Hella right.
Run DMC is classic. Well, check this out.
Iconic.
When I was listening to Run DMC, I had an old head tell me, this new junk is whack. You need to listen to Treacherous 3, Grandmaster Caz, Melly Mel. This new stuff, these dudes ain't got it. How about that? So it made me think, like, you know what? Hold up. Because it's all perspective. So what you need to do, SP, when you hear this new stuff and these young people are into it, make them tell you why is it dope. Have them give you lines, and then you be like, okay, that's dope. How about this line? And then you hit them with a quick Rakim line, and then they be like, oh, okay, I got a little Dirk line. He goes right, and you be like, okay, I didn't understand that, but check this out. I got a Nas line. Nas said, boom, 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 boom. And so now y'all having an exchange, and instead of putting down the young person, you having them defend what they love, and then that's a conversation. That's even building a bridge. That's building a connection. So that's how you bridge the gap. You challenge them to tell you why they dope, and then you tell them why you was dope, and everybody listen. You listen to their stuff and pull out the good points, right? Because you ain't gonna like everything. That's just not gonna happen, and they're not gonna like all of our stuff. I've sat with my students and sat with them, and I'm sitting here playing 93 to Infinity like, yo, this is everything. And they can't see it. But then they play me some NBA Youngboy, and I'm sitting there like, okay, if you say so, right? But we're exchanging, and that's what you got to do, SP.
Yeah, we have me and my daughter would trade artists. So for every artist that she wanted me to listen to, she had to listen to somebody that I listened to.
That's dope. Yeah.
Which makes her playlist now so weird. She's like all over the place.
Yep. I get it.
So I'm going to give everybody an opportunity to slide one in if y'all have another question.
I was just going to ask, when you're making a song or a beat, how do you know it's done? Like how, like, is there like a light bulb? Like what is your process with that?
It's just how it feels. The way I do it, I make like that's what I was just doing. That's why I got this beat up right now, because I'm adding some. Because what I do is I make it and then I bounce it. I put it in the car. The car test is the final test, right? You listen to it in the whip because that's how everybody else gonna hear it, right? So I'm listening to a whip and I'm like, oh, I need to turn the kick up. Oh, I need to turn the hi-hats down. Oh, I could bring in. Oh, I could put a scratch right here. So that's how I do it. So then I come back, add what I gotta add. Go back to the car, be like, boom, boom. All right, this feels good. It's done. Boom, next one. That's it. And that's how I mix too. That's how I mix my songs. Same way.
Right. My question is for you when it comes to like producing. Is there a certain mood you're in when you're creating a beat or music? Like if you're in a sad mood or in a somber mood, do you look to try to find that type of loop or drum, or when you're in a happy mood, do you try to find that type of beat? Like how does that work with digging?
That's a good question. Nah, it's none of the above. I just have to be in a good place to be able to create. I can't, like, if me and the wife's arguing or something, I'm not in the mood to create. If something sad happened, I might not be in the mood to create. When I'm in the mood to create, though, I just kind of I let the music guide me. I'll be honest. I start with drums every single time. I start with drums. Like I find me some drums that I like, I chop them, and I put them in, and then I just sit and listen to them drums, and then I start thinking about, oh, I remember this sample. I thought of this. Oh, I could chop that, and then that's how I do. I put the sample in later, but I always start with drums. That's me.
Two more quick ones, SP. Um, what made you decide to become a producer and beat maker as opposed to an MC and artist up front, or was it the simultaneous? Like, how did that work?
It was just,
Chicken or the egg?
it's just nah. It's just because I found I was finding the samples in my dad's records, and that did it. That you know, the records drove me to it. The records, finding that vinyl.
And then the MCing came after.
Nah, the MCing came first.
First, okay, and then
First,
now I
yeah.
gotta find something to match it.
Yeah, I mean, it just the beat making was much more fun. The DJing came out of necessity because my DJ went to jail, and so I had to learn how to DJ. And then once I learned how to DJ, I realized that was something I enjoyed, and I could do it out. So,
I always forget the damn term, but it's something creates out of necessity.
yeah,
Creates. I can't remember the term anyway.
I can't either, but that's what it
You
is.
know what I mean, right? Is the invention of creation. Whatever. All right. Anyway, whoa. You're a DJ, right? How did this influence your production style and craft overall? That's my last question.
Mostly just because I know what DJs like. Like sometimes I like starting with the drums because I know it's easy as a DJ to bring stuff in with the drums or just starting on the one. It makes it easy to blend in. So I'll do that a lot of times on my beats.
So, just a final question. Well, actually, yeah, final question. What's a fact about you that your fans would probably be surprised to know?
A fun fact, like one of them under the Snapple cap type thing.
Yeah,
Random.
Snapple cap type thing. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I cut hair. You know, I had 3 sons, so I couldn't make 4 barbershop trips a week. I couldn't afford that. So I actually taught myself how to cut hair when I was a sophomore in high school because I told my dad if he got me clippers, I would learn how to cut hair if he would give me the haircut money because I needed to buy records. That's the deal I made. So that's how I got a lot of the records I got because I used to start with them bowl cuts. I couldn't cut. I learned. So, you know, I did that all through college. I cut cats' hair, made extra money in college. So yeah, I can fade.
Necessity is the mother of invention.
There it is. And it was
Google's
a
my
necessity to get that record money. I needed that money. I needed because my allowance wasn't enough. I was like, yo, this is cool, but I need that haircut money plus the allowance. Now I could go, you know, I was addicted back then, yo.
Are you West Indian, J Rawls? You sound Jamaican, man. 20 drop.
I'm straight Columbus, Ohio, man. I don't need, man. Listen,
You
know,
Ohioan.
I was going to answer you. You must be from Brooklyn or something. Man.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah, you straight up New York City.
I'm New York, yeah, man. Never,
you so New York. You take me back. You got me like, yo, this is
1, 2, 3.
Yeah,
J Rawls.
Yeah, you straight up New York all day.
So I just want to thank you for coming on the show. This has been a treat. I especially love the conversation about education. I don't think we talk about it enough as a community. Is there any shout outs you want to give or promote? That's what we're here for.
And we're gonna put all the links and the stuff that you said before
put the
down
links
below
for me, man. But it's jr.com, polarentllc.com. You know, tell cats to check me out. But you know, shout out to y'all. I appreciate the interview. I appreciate everything. My son just came down here, so I'm about to get some kicking with him time. He just graduated, man. It's my dude right here.
Congratulations.
High school graduate, man. It's over. Hey.
Education.
Yeah, man. So I'm about to hang with him, but I appreciate the opportunity, and you know, I'm about to get back on these beats, man. Thank y'all.
And check out the Hope program and all that good stuff.
Okay. Yeah, before we go, I just want to say real quick, I think you are incredible.
Thank you.
You're an incredible person because that our kids are so
Immaculate's
important.
the word, but yeah.
Immaculate, right?
That's
Our
right.
kids are so important. Our education's so important. So thank you.
Peace and thank you. I appreciate y'all.
All right.
Dr.
This is
Immaculate.
Peace.
SP, Morgan, Dev, and J Rawls, and we out. Like, comment, and subscribe. Peace.
Hit the notification bell. J Rawls made a powerful impact. SP made a powerful impact. Morgan made a powerful impact. Never made a powerful impact. You go out there and make a powerful impact. 1, 2, 3. Peace. J Rawls.
Peace.
Black Star keeps shining.